I think that sustainability is very important, whether you go into economics, politics, even hotel management, you still need to be thinking about sustainability and how we can reduce our carbon footprint.
Before I studied the social and environmental accounting module, I was thinking like, you don't really need to report on sustainability, but then obviously studying the accounting and finance module more, I was like, oh, hang on a sec, like they actually do need to do that because some businesses cause so much harm to the world and they just sort of get away with it. It really did open a lot of insight as to how, I guess, businesses actually like apply the actual social and environmental reporting, such as like the Global Reporting Initiative.
So this year we took part in the Sustainable and Ethical Design module as part of our second semester in first year, which got us to look at different designers in sustainable designers, ethical designers, zero waste, pattern cutting designers, deconstruction, reconstruct designers, and then we took elements of that work and we looked at it in our own. In my opinion, it is the future of design. It's not something that can change overnight, but it's something that can slowly filter into industry through people learning it for this type of course and then it going forward into our job roles.
It was integrated into our module at university. Its label is Interdisciplinary Systems Design. The idea for the course was just how we went about developing a system. My team were looking at how much energy the NHS was using on a yearly basis. So we came up with a sort of smart plug idea. Because we got to go out and have a talk with these organisations about what issues they were having, we got to see where we could implement our system to help them specifically. This gave us some real-world issues that we could sort of apply outside of lectures. It has helped me develop a side of me that cares more about the sustainability of things rather than just making things for the sake of making.
I think a really common narrative that we see on a day-to-day basis is the idea that bigger is better and that more is preferable to less. It's definitely a story that I want to help change. I first came across eco-linguistics when I sat in on an undergraduate module while I was doing my postgraduate degree. It's had a huge influence on how I perceive language as a whole. Language can be a powerful tool for change. As soon as you're able to identify the stories that surround you, be positive or negative, you have the agency to make action, and through action you can change the world.
So the practical sessions as part of the ecological impact assessment module at undergraduate were really valuable. We spent a lot of time on an example field site, undertaking almost like a mock assessment of this site, working through it as if it was a real world scenario, starting with mapping all the habitats. The skills that I was given the chance to develop through that module really came into play when moving out into starting doing surveys for a consultancy in a real world setting. It meant that I already had the fundamentals there, so you could almost hit the ground running a little bit.
When I first started the work placement, I had an idea that sustainability was important because I'd learned that in my degree. But it wasn't until I actually did the work placement that I found out just how challenging it is to implement the ideas, because it's all very well having the great idea, but often like the economic and the political can sometimes get in the way. So it's being able to manage that so that you can still achieve everything you want to, but you just have to sometimes be quite creative and think outside the box to make it happen. The best way to make sure that people get engaged is to make it relevant to the topic that they are studying, because it can be relevant to everything.